Hey guys, in this video I'll be comparing Andrew Jacked, Hunter Labrada, and Nick Walker. I wanted to say sorry for not uploading as frequently this week, and to preface the video by saying that I don't have all the 8 mandatory poses for Hunter. I decided to make this video without all 8 poses to avoid the risk of not having the time in the future, due to, schoolwork, other commitments, things like that, so hopefully you guys enjoyed the video anyways. Now, who do you think will place higher at the 2024 Mr. Olympia? Let me know in the comments and let's get into this video. The first pose is the front double, and I've already compared Nick and Andrew in the past, so I thought that, we should focus on where Hunter can push these guys. Now, looking at his physique, there's no doubt that he's conditioned and massive in the arms and legs. However, I'm not a huge fan of that midsection. I honestly would have thought that it would look better now, however, the abs look very washed out, and he has that unsightly protrusion by the sternum. To give him some props, he has the most deeply feathered serratus and obliques. However, the other two have more aesthetic midsections, which is really saying something when your competition includes Nick Walker. Although the lighting is the worst for Hunter, I think the quads are the most well-rounded when it comes to the separation and size, easily beating Nick in sweep and matching Andrew in density on a smaller frame. With all that said though, I still don't think Hunter's doing enough to beat either guy in this pose, since Andrew would probably win against anyone by default, and Nick is freakier and less offensive in the midsection. So we don't have the front lat spread or the side chest, however we do have the back poses, which should be the most interesting poses. In this one, Hunter seems to be a nice middle ground between Andrew and Nick. He's bringing solid lower body size and condition, a shapely back and a shredded back as well, and a large, very defined arms. I'd say that he's pushing Nick in the back even, possibly having the most separation out of anyone in this comparison, and those delts are by far the best. Now, I've seen his glutes and hamstrings more dug out in the past, however, this is a very solid package. He's making Andrew look soft everywhere and competes with Nick pretty well upstairs, but does lose the lower half to him. Nick would probably do enough to beat Hunter in this pose, however, I think that Hunter handily wins against the much softer Andrew, especially when looking at the razor-sharp back, delts, arms, and of course the legs. The rear lat spread is a mediocre pose for all three, however, I'd have it playing out in a similar manner as the last pose. Now, Nick clearly has the best lower body once again, bringing the best development in those cable-like hamstrings and a dry, grainy conditioning in the glutes, and has a very nice back to boot as well, I guess. Now, he's no Phil Heath in thickness, however, compared to the other two, he's the most complete in this pose. Now, Hunter's always been decent in this shot since his width carried him in the past, and his lower body was normally in condition, and here I would say it's no different. His back is certainly improved, especially in the lower lat thickness. His lats flare out extremely wide upstairs, and his lower body shows more separation in the hamstrings compared to Andrew. I'm not entirely impressed with his conditioning though, relative to his updates. However, I think he's going to do just enough to beat out Andrew in this pose, who has very little separation downstairs, and an impressive back, but definitely not good enough to outright beat a more complete Hunter. Unlike the front double, the side tricep shows Hunter's midsection in a much more favorable light. You can see what I was talking about with the shredded obliques and serratus, as he easily has the most eye-catching midsection in this pose, for a good reason. Just to get this out of the way, Andrew is the obvious third in this pose, since he is posing very badly from the side, and would not really compare well to Hunter or Nick in my opinion. Now, he's got the bubbly muscle and tons of size, however, his posing is horrendous. He's also getting outclassed in the fine details by both Nick and Hunter, so I really don't see him winning against them without some drastic posing changes. Now, Nick is pretty good in this pose, bringing a tight midsection and massive tricep. However, he's not locking out his arm to maximize that tricep thickness, and I've seen his waist in better shape before. He impresses me more in the side leg than Hunter when it comes to the details. However, I keep getting drawn to Hunter's feathered tricep, grainy condition, and chiseled waist. He's no slouch in the size either, so I would probably give him the win over Nick. The ab and thigh is interesting since Hunter doesn't do a conventional hands over head variation, opting for a twisting shot. I actually think this variation suits his physique the best since his abs are not the best, while his obliques and serratus are pretty good. I honestly think that he does enough to beat Nick here, which is crazy considering a 2023 Arnold Classic Nick Walker would have easily won against Hunter here. It's just the fact that his abs and waistline are so unappealing now, and his quads are so small and unswept in comparison to that wide waist. Obviously, Hunter can't beat Andrew in this pose, who outclasses both competitors in pure genetics. However, Hunter is still good for what it's worth. I like the feathered quads, intricate details upstairs, and freaky conditioning and vascularity, but there's no denying that this is still a kind of underwhelming pose. The most muscular is the last pose I've got, and here I would say it's kind of preference between these three. Sure, you could say that Andrew would be last due to his stringy forearms and almost a lanky look. However, one could counter-argue by saying his aesthetics bring a level of freak factor that is unmatched by the other two. Now, Hunter and Nick bring more traditional wow factor in the form of pure freakiness, especially with all the veins and mass everywhere. Neither have the cross striations like Andrew in the chest. However, they are far more dense in the upper body and look very gnarly. I'd probably go with Nick in this pose since his freak factor is off the charts, with Andrew in second place for his aesthetics and Hunter in third due to the noticeable pec tear and kind of off-putting midsection. Anyways, let me know in the comments what you thought of this shorter comparison, and again, I do apologize for not having all the poses. If you still enjoyed though, a like and sub would be awesome, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.